Daybreak Africa is your one-stop top-notch breakfast show that brings you all the interesting stories happening in and around Africa.
Because we have all the morning essentials,
including the latest news, sports, weather, and events. And of course, the people.
Daybreak Africa on Television Nigerian.
Weekdays, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m.
And then raise your voice.
Mr. Speaker, people are talking about coronavirus. How many people coronavirus kill in Nigeria? You are talking about coronavirus. We are talking about bandits. In only a single day, they kill the people that pass. All the people die with corona in Nigeria. People, they consider this corona as something. Put your mask, block the state, go at home, they shut down everything. We're not supposed to shut down, we're supposed to shut down this country for banditry, not corona. Mr. Speaker, the black people are very strong. I don't believe with any corona. No corona will touch me. Mr. Speaker, seriously, what I believe in it is look at how we became serious in the issue of corona in this country. Why won't the government be serious in the issue of this killing as they treated corona? Mr. Speaker,
one of the most pertinent and most talked about issues in the national polity at the moment, talking about people trying to strike a balance between some of the things plaguing the country, insecurity and coronavirus.
Yeah, I mean, he made some points there. He said how many people have died of coronavirus in the country, that the persons that have died, they're not up to the persons that have died as a result of insecurity.
He was actually comparing the total death we recorded from coronavirus to the number of deaths in a single day.
In a single day as a result of insecurity. Anyway, good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, Africa. My name is Mercy Joe.
And my name is Elvis Ogai. A very big thank you to you for joining us on today's edition of Daybreak Africa on Television Nigeria. Yeah. All right, that video actually reminded me of what happened at the State House yesterday.
Yeah, you said
when the Senate President actually visited, paid a courtesy visit to the President of the country, His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari.
Yeah.
And some of the things that were talked about from information made known to us from that meeting talked about issues concerning insecurity.
Yeah, and you said he made mention about the way that COVID-19 is being handled in the nation with so much seriousness
and attention.
So he wished, it's like a wish that seriousness can be actually put into the insecurity in the nation.
Yes, because he talked about the way we handling COVID-19, and we needed to handle that. So basically, he said the reason why he visited the president yesterday was to brief the president or intimate the president with what they have resolved at the National Assembly. And he said, okay, they have resolved that they needed to handle the issue of insecurity just the way they are handling coronavirus. So one of the most pertinent or key part of that meeting yesterday was the fact that the Senate said they are ready to entertain a supplementary budget to tackle insecurity. He made reference to the fact that, okay, a sum of about 500 billion naira was pumped into fighting coronavirus and all of that. So the Senate are willing to entertain a supplementary budget to tackle insecurity as well.
Well, we hope to see the better outcome of all of this, because I think fear is a very strong word to use here.
Yes.
And yes, it is the word that should be used here, because it seems COVID-19 has brought everyone to their knees. Everyone is really very scared of COVID-19, unlike the insecurity that has been happening in the nation for quite a time now.
Yes,
so the seriousness in tackling COVID-19, we're not seeing it in the insecurity aspect. So one begins to wonder which is actually, you know, when we were talking about this one, I said this is the topic. Coronavirus versus insecurity. I'm telling you.
You talked about that earlier on. And,
anyway.
Nigerians actually been reacting that ordinarily, how will a lawmaker go to the executive and then be telling them what they should do? And then they talked about the issue of service chief. Recall that the president had a meeting with them and he was like, if they can't deliver this time around, they will be shown the exit door.
Yes.
And somebody was complaining, after 5 years, we're still talking about giving them a timeline or a time frame. And people are trying to profile so many solutions.
That's not what they are thinking of seeing right now. And then talking about even our own executives, even kind some sort of talks that make people believe that the pandemic is not real, or make people feel as though the virus is not in the country. I mean, he made a statement that black people are strong, but the same black people are still dying of COVID-19.
There's something I actually want us to take a look at from the video. When this motion was moved at the floor of the Green Chamber, that's the House of Reps, I think the number of casualties recorded from coronavirus was still lower than what we have. Yeah, it was not.
So I would love to see a situation where maybe he could come and repeat it back for us again.
I think basically,
do you think his view must have changed by now?
Probably not totally, because we need to get the broader picture of what he's trying to talk about. He's trying to look at how serious we take insecurity versus how serious we take COVID-19.
Anyway, moving from that, during the weekend, the Ondo State Deputy Governor decamped from APC to PDP. Wow. And we could see there was a video footage that was released of the police trying to stop him from moving. Let's call for the video to see where the Ondo State Deputy Governor was being heard. All right, let's go on a very quick break, and when we come back, we'll have the video shown to you.
The government house. So
what is our duty on those
states?
They are
not saying you should not go out.
That's what you are doing now, not even this boy. It is you now that's doing the CP.
You're already defecting. That's what
it's even that is doing it now, not anybody.
No, you're already defecting.
How?
Even your letter was brought to me this evening.
That what?
That you are doing it on Monday.
So if I
what the government is
so if I do it, are you not a excuse me, please, are you not a police officer? It's not officer. If I'm leaving a place or another, what's your concern about? Are you an APC chairman? Are you the PDP chairman? Do you know how much? Do you know how many hours I spent there?
Attend to the issue.
I don't understand. That the governor, a kind of even attached to me. I personally pay for this vehicle, not even government. If you maybe don't know.
And they said no.
That is the reason why you shouldn't have put yourself in this mess, because it's totally mess now. Why will police be used, for God's sake? But let me tell you, you people cannot repeat what happened in 1983 in Ondo State again. And it's unfortunate that they want to use the police to cause it, or those people will resist you with everything, with your emperor. Just drive the car there.
Drive the car yourself.
No, okay, wait.
Drive the car yourself.
The vehicle will stay. Let them go out with my personal car. I can hand over the key to you, sir. Okay, CP. No, just a minute, sir. Just a minute.
You borrow a lady.
On the APC government.
Just off the engine and give you this.
All right, welcome back. I'm sure you've watched the video and you see where the deputy governor was being held by the police. Well, I don't know what to say about that. I mean, he decamped. So you would like to see a situation where Obaseki decamped from APC to PDP, and then maybe that's also occurred.
from neighboring Ondo State, another state that is supposed to hold their election by September as well. They have actually, the deputy governor has actually gone ahead to decamp to the opposition party, the People's Democratic Party. But I think the serious concern about this issue now, it's all about what's the role of the police trying to hold him or dissuade him from the campaign. Because I had some people talking about, okay, I think in the video he was saying, you are a police officer, a senior one at that. So are you the chairman of APC? Are you the chairman of PDP? What's your business if I decamp?
I really don't understand. I can't understand. And then on what ground did the police actually come to probably stop his movement and what have you? Like, so we're going to start seeing that subsequently from other
probably
states
before
in the
the end
country.
of the day. Before the end of the day, we're going to hear probably from the police or any other person that's concerned in this case to see, maybe give up reasons why he was held in the first place.
Maybe there's something else that we're not
don't know.
aware of. Anyway, Nigeria recorded 436 new cases yesterday, bringing to a total of 20,244 cases of COVID-19 in the country. Sadly, Nigeria has recorded 518 deaths so far, 6,879 recoveries. You know, every other day when we talk about these figures and we see the recoveries, we feel like there is hope. When we see because I think in the past 2 weeks now, we've been seeing like a spike in the recoveries, like the amount of recoveries, unlike before. So one would have been thinking, probably if we were taking recoveries very serious at the initial stage of the virus coming into the country, probably if we were thinking about recoveries and all, we would have had like very close gap. The gap wouldn't be this wide because it's really very, very wide.
You know, when one tends to look at it, you might really want to see, okay, why is the reason, why are we recording this high number of cases in a single day? I think from the Presidential Task Force, we've seen information like, okay, it's because we've actually upgraded our testing. So if we have more tests, we should actually be talking about more cases and all of that. But I don't want to believe that it's all about the testing. We've seen situations where Nigerians have actually been accused of throwing caution to the wind, where so many people feel all the guidelines that have been put in place, Nigerians don't take them seriously again. And we keep advocating every time and every now and then that the success of breaking the chain of this coronavirus is actually largely lies in our hands as citizens of this country. So I think it's high time we started taking these guidelines more seriously than ever before.
All right. The thing is that COVID-19 is still very much, irrespective of how the what did you call him? The House of Representative, the first video that we watched, irrespective of how he brought or presented COVID-19. COVID-19 is real. And black, white, yellow, green, it's killing everyone. So that's the deal. Anyway, let's go to the news desk and see what Susan Achin has for us this morning.
Good morning and welcome to AM News. I am Susan Achin. President Donald Trump's re-election campaign on Sunday blamed the disappointing crowd at his Tulsa rally on protesters creating a hostile atmosphere and blocking supporters from getting into the arena. The White House had promised the much-hyped event, Trump's first rally in 3 months, would be flooded with up to a stating airstrikes targeting terrorist locations at Bula Bello at Ngoske on the fringes of the Sambisa forest in Borno State. Meanwhile, Ondo State Deputy Governor Agboola Ajayi has resigned from membership from the All Progressives Congress APC. Ajayi resigned his membership of the APC on Sunday at his country home in Kiribo, Ward 2, Apoi in Esodo, local government area of the state. This is coming few hours after Mr. Ajayi was prevented by the Commissioner of Police, Bolaji Salami, from moving out of the government house, Akure, the state capital. Now, firefighters in Ogun and Lagos State succeeded in putting out the inferno caused by an explosion which occurred in the early hours of Sunday. The incident, which occurred at the Kwara end of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway at about 2 a.m., involved a petrol tanker, a gas truck, and a cement transport truck and claimed several lives. It also resulted in gridlock as commuters were stuck waiting for the debris to be cleared. And on a sad note, the management of the Federal Medical Center in Abuja, the Ogun State capital, has confirmed that a 2-year-old girl has tested positive for the coronavirus at the center. The child was said to have admitted into the facility 8 days ago on account of breathlessness. According to a statement issued by the head of public relations and communication for the center, Segun Orisajo, investigations were subsequently carried out on her, which revealed that she was positive for coronavirus. And onto the entertainment scene, Nollywood actress Tonto Dike has wished herself a happy Father's Day. She said she parented her son Andre all by herself and did it well. She added that action is the best thing in life as it proves who someone really is, adding that on the other hand, words also show who they want to be. Tonto told her son that being his dad has been such a great honor, and she appreciated Andre for making her Mr. Mom. While Tonto there being just her, and a happy belated Father's Day to all the fathers out there. And that's it on AM News. I am Susan Achin. We now go across Africa for some more news. Stay with us.
Africa, Africa. Welcome to News Across Africa on Daybreak Africa. Ethiopia's Foreign Minister Gedu Androshiu has rejected Egypt's call to refer to the dispute over Addis Ababa's construction of the giant Nile Dam to the United Nations Security Council. The $4.6 billion project on the Blue Nile in Ethiopia will create the most powerful hydroelectric dam in Africa, but Egypt sees the project as a potentially existential threat. The Ethiopian foreign minister has outrightly rejected all criticisms from Egypt. He emphasized that Ethiopia had no intention of withholding water from other countries further downstream along the River Nile. He said, in quote, "What they, the Egyptians, are now doing about the issue of the dam is not proportional, even for propaganda purposes, let alone war and conflict. It has been overextended beyond what it is necessary. Truth be told, if they are thinking like that, their issue is not with Blue Nile, it's with a country called Ethiopia. Unless this is a longing for war, the dam in fact encourages development, brotherhood, and creating lines." End quote, the Ethiopian foreign minister added. Both nations have hinted at military steps to protect their interests. Experts fear a breakdown in talks could lead to conflicts. A landslide on the outskirts of Ivory Coast's largest city Thursday killed at least 13 people after heavy rainfall swept away 20 houses in the area, authorities said. A search was underway in Ayama for those who remained missing, while meteorologists warned the risk of flooding remained high in Abidjan after several days of heavy rainfall. On Sunday, a three-story building collapsed in Abata village east of Abidjan, and storms were also blamed for one death in Abobo. Ivory Coast rainy season is known to be deadly in June, especially in settlements where there is poor storm drainage among homes, often built quickly without zoning regulations. 2 years ago this week, 20 people died from storm-related causes, including 18 in the Abidjan area. As coronavirus cases accelerate in Africa, many patients who have recovered from the virus are facing stigmatization and discrimination. Despite beating the infectious disease, many still live under its cloud. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, survivors battle against people's denial of the virus and stigmatization against the sick. Tembo Cash, recently recovered from COVID-19, said, "I am a living proof the disease exists, and I will ask people who still have doubt to be very careful because I can confirm that I suffered." End quote. According to reports, people battling the virus have been threatened and ostracized in their communities. They face constant suspicion that they are spreaders of the disease. To aid combat the spread of the coronavirus, the European Union recently announced that DRC will benefit from a €19.5 million humanitarian aid. Zimbabwe's health minister was expected to appear in court on Saturday to face allegations of illegally awarding the multi-million-dollar contract for COVID-19 testing kits, drugs, and personal protective equipment to a shadowy company. The country's anti-corruption agency arrested Obadiah Moyo on Friday as the scandal roiled the country and played out on social media, where some local journalists exposed how Moyo allegedly chose the company to sell medical supplies to the government at inflated prices that included face masks for $28 each. The government cancelled the contract following public uproar. The minister on Saturday appeared before a court in the capital Harare and was released on a bail of $50,000, local outlets reported. Prosecution reportedly did not oppose the bail for the embattled minister. The scandal comes as health professionals, including nurses and doctors in Zimbabwe, are on strike, demanding to be paid their salaries in US dollars. They argue that inflation that is now above 750% and the erosion of the value of local currency have rendered incomes worthless. Most traders charge for their goods in US dollars in the southern African country that has long faced economic collapse. The health professionals also have complained about lack of adequate protective gear as the number of coronavirus cases rises. Malian opposition activists turned up in their thousands on Friday, marching through the streets of the capital Bamako to demand the resignation of President Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta. The massive response to the anti-government protest comes after a series of calls by opposition groups accusing the president of not addressing the country's many challenges. Pressure is mounting on Keïta over failure to contain the 2012 terrorist insurgency that has claimed the lives of thousands of soldiers and civilians. Bintu, one of such protesters, said it is time for IBK to leave. He said, in quote, "We are here tonight to put an end to the corruption, to put an end to demagoguery, to put an end to this dying power that is no longer capable of educating our children, giving us health, equipping our army. Imagine a country where the money intended to equip the army to protect the nation is misappropriated. The regime must be stopped. IBK must go." End quote. The embattled president on Tuesday announced that he would hold talks on establishing a unity government, a move some critics say is an attempt to appease increasingly vocal opposition critics. However, it did little to hold back the protesters. The regional ECOWAS bloc sent a delegation that met with the president on Thursday. They also called for the formation of a unity government and a review of contentious results from the recent legislative polls. That is the much we have for you on News Across Africa. Daybreak Africa continues shortly.
Welcome back from News Across Africa right there. This is still Daybreak Africa on television Nigeria. We now take you over to our newspaper review segment where we take a look at some headlines from some of the national dailies.
Let's take a look at the Daily Sun newspaper this morning. The headlines here: APC suffers another loss. Ondo Deputy Governor dumps party for PDP. Expect Buhari action in few days. That's coming from Lawan. Acting chair rules out emergency neck. You can get a hold of that story on page 6 and 29 of the Daily Sun newspaper. Meanwhile, there's this picture story here. Burning fuel tankers in Kara Bridge following multiple accidents that occurred yesterday in Lagos. Remains of the tanker driver, gridlock in Lagos-Ibadan Expressway as a result of the accident. You see picture 1, 2, and 3, a dead body being carried in picture 2 there.
That's actually a sad one. And we were talking about how things actually happen in Lagos, where we were talking about flood the other day.
Yes,
and it's
today
become more like an annual stuff. And then you now take a look at fire tankers and fire got in different parts.
It's always happening there. I don't know. Anyway, there's this other story here. Federal government talks tough over attack on embassy in Ghana. We'll get to root of demolition of residence of Ambassador vows Onyema. Ghana apologizes. Well, you'd love to read that story on page 26 of the Daily Sun newspaper. Above the nameplate, agony, losses as 4 tankers wreak havoc in Lagos. Anyway, that's all for the Daily Sun newspaper this morning.
Now let's take a quick look at the Guardian newspaper with the banner headline: Anxiety as debt service burden stokes bankruptcy. Below that, Ondo Deputy Governor's defection deepens APC crisis. If you still take a look below that, you still see first gunshots in Villa. That is actually contained on the page 12. And that's more like the editorial story from this National Daily this morning. And side by side that, you see government okays 3.6 billion naira for dogs insurance hazard allowance. You can look up that story on the page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. And I'll take this last one before we move on to the next publication. CNPP threatens to occupy National Assembly over detention of CUPP spokesperson. You can check that out on the page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. Then do well by picking a copy of the Guardian newspaper for details of these headlines and even more.
Okay, taking a look at This Day newspaper. PDP aspirants resist pressure to step down for Edo governor. Wike, Tambuwa, Okowa, Obaseki meet. Guy Dom didn't resign for Rivers election, says NWC member. Rivers APC suspend national chairmanship claimant. IG deploys riot police personnel in Edo as APC holds primary today. Above the nameplates, federal government responds as Ghana demolishes Nigeria's diplomatic building, attack breaches Vienna Convention. Ghana vows to punish perpetrators. Wow. Below that, that's beside the picture story there. Lawan calls for timeline for service chiefs over insecurity. Says President others will address APC crisis soon. Wow. All right. That's all for This Day newspaper this morning.
All right. Now let's take a look at the Punch newspaper. And we take it from top to the bottom. The first story you see on that publication says PPIS. Petrol scarcity looms as Pengassin Nupen threatens strike. That story is actually on the page 2 of the Punch newspaper. Sit up or be fired, Lawan tells service chiefs after meeting Buhari. You can actually see that on the page 35 of the Punch newspaper. And the banner story we have from that publication says APC Edo sets for showdown as governor primary holds today. Gatherings, APC acting as if it's above the law, says state governor. We don't need Obaseki's permission to organize our primary. That is coming from the party. Rivers APC suspends Gaidom for flouting party constitution. And then if you take a look at the picture story, still talking about the mishap in Lagos about the petrol tanker that caught fire with a caption, 2 dead, many injured in Lagos-Ibadan Expressway tanker explosions. That story is on the page 4 of the Punch newspaper, and then you can pick a copy of the Punch newspaper for details of those stories and even more.
All right, taking a look at the Nigerian Tribune newspaper this morning. The big headline here: federal government pays 4.6 billion naira to 55,031 health workers. 9 billion naira for life insurance as doctors suspend strike. Well, that's a good news there.
That's actually a good one.
Very, very good one. That's on page 3 and 26 of the Nigerian newspaper. Above that, 34-year-old man kills 2 own children, injures 72-year-old father. Well,
I saw that story and I was heartbroken.
True.
Like I was just trying to tell people maybe they should just run a mental check on the man to see if he's actually okay upstairs.
Yes. So that means we should be running mental checks on everyone in the nation.
They've actually said that there are so many unstable people, but just few of them are roaming the street.
All right. Still beside that, wild polio eradication, 2 decades long war. That's coming from Buhari. That's on page 7 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. Below the picture nameplate, Edo APC crisis sets tone for 2023 battle. That's on page 8. Beside that, Ondo deputy governor resigns from APC, joins PDP. Seems like something is happening that we don't know of. You can get a hold of that on page 6 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper this morning. And that's it for the Nigerian newspaper.
All right, and then from the Daily Times, we have Ebonyi donate building to NYSA task scheme on its upkeep. That story is on the page 3 of the Daily Times. It's actually beside the picture story. And above that, you will see Borno recommends 300 graduates for employment. Delta SSG Information Commissioner test positive for COVID-19. Ondo Guba, Akredolu's deputy dumps APC, joins PDP. You can check page 7 of the Daily Times for the details of that story. And then the banner headline we have from the Daily Times says, Nigerians will pay for electricity if a lot of rhetoric there, and that is coming from Oshibanjo, and that story is on the page 2 of the Daily Times. And then below that says a federal government targets 25 million homes for microgrid across Nigeria. Then beside the nameplate, you see the story. Federal government carpet resident doctor says strike needless. Pick a copy of the Daily Times for details of those stories and even more.
Okay, the Business Day newspaper this morning. Global gas glut leaves Nigeria's LNG unsold, threatens 80 billion naira dividend. All right, beside that, tech startups risk higher interest rates on debt amid raging FX crisis. That's on page 31 of the Business Day newspaper. And inside the Business Day newspaper this morning, Dangote Cement sustains 54,000 jobs in 4 African countries. Talking about Dangote and its job creations all over Africa. That's on page 30 of the Business Day newspaper. Manufacturers suffer drop in profit as COVID-19 underpins bleak outlook. That's on page 30 of the Business Day newspaper. And that's it for the Business Day newspaper this morning.
All right, and finally from my own end here, we'll be looking at the Nation newspaper. And we have some stories. Let's take a look at these stories above the nameplate. Ondo deputy governor's defection raises dust in PDP. Ajayi packs out of government house. That story is on the page 4 of the Nation newspaper. Beside that, Aisha Buhari's ADC security aid restore. Panel summit report. You can still see that on the page 4 of the Nation newspaper. And beside that, you have government releases 13.6 billion naira to health workers. Man clubs kids to death with pesto. Those stories are on page 5 and page 2. I think there's a publication you read earlier on that talked about that.
Yeah, when you were talking about those who are roaming on the streets that have
All right, the picture story is still talking about the mishap in Lagos with the caption, 3 tankers explode on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. You can see that story on the page 2 of the Nation newspaper. And then the banner headline from this publication says, please, DSS, INEC deployed in Edo for APC showdown polls. Izeyano Odubu optimistic on ticket. Uzodima panel to obey COVID-19 rules. And then I'll take this last one before I wrap it up. Gaydom suspended as Lawan meets Buhari on APC crisis. Pick a copy of the Nation newspaper to get the details of these stories we just brought your way and many more. I think that does it from my own ends, and I see that Miss Jo has actually packed her papers aside, so that means she don't have any more publication for us this
and that's it for the newspaper review this morning. Well, the Zuma Rock, situated here in Abuja. You know, there are lots of mysteries around the Zuma Rock, and people would love to know that. Well, we have this community report on the mysteries of the Zuma Rock. Let's quickly go to that, and we'll be right back.
One beautiful thing about nature are those gifts we get freely, like the spectacular Zuma Rock with the monolith human face, which is just behind me. Zuma Rock is found along Zuba Kaduna Expressway. There have been so many strange stories about Zuma Rock, but today we are here to find out if those stories are true. Come along.
Zuma Rock, the monolithic instable with a human face, is located in Madanla, Niger State, to the north of Abuja. It was once described as the unquestionable watchman of the FCT, with its sandy consignment that hangs like a hazard over Zuba town. The other mountains in and around it stay a considerable distance from it, which the Zuba people see as a form of respect being paid by the other mountains to Zuma Rock for its royal presence in the locality. It is impossible for visitors and tourists who come to Abuja not to see the magnificent structure, as it has always been a center of attraction for them. Although it is located at Madanla, Niger State, it has over time become a major symbol of Abuja landscape due to its close proximity to the city center. Behind the rock is a Zuma Rock Nigerian village, which was built to accommodate tourists visiting the rock, but due to underdevelopment, the place has been abandoned. History has it that Zuma Rock was first located in the thick forest by the people of Zuba and the Kuru in the 18th century when they settled around the rock. The Zuma people named the rock Zumwan, which means the place of catching guinea fowl. Thus, the name Zuma was derived from this name. On getting to the forest, they settled within a mile radius around it and constructed a group of settlements. On discovering that the rock had strong spirit, they worshipped it, offered constant sacrifice, and organized festival in honor of the rock, thus within its environment. This rock is regarded as the strongest idol both of its size and strong spirit. Over time, it has been used for defensive purpose by the Gwari natives against invading neighboring tribes. Zuma Rock inhabits a village close to it called Kudu Nasarawa. The resident of the community spoke highly about the rock and has given them comfort that every other story being said about the rock are false.
My grandfather was the first person to live in this community, and which today my father is the chief of Dakwa. Yeah.
So who are the first people? What language?
Gbagi by tribe.
Okay, that means everybody here are Gbagi.
Everybody are Gbagi, but we now have a stranger, different language now. But we in the indigenous Gbagi by tribe.
About this Zuma Rock is a friendly rock. Because our children used to go there and play, nothing happened to them on this rock. Even my children used to follow them to the rock, play, come back, there is peace. No, we don't have anything here.
You know, in that area, sometimes some people will go and kill people in other places. They will now bring their dead body to throw them away there.
So, you see our community, development not there, because people are fear for this, what in the call White House. Some people are talk about bad issue about this thing. Since I stay here for 3 years, I never see anything happen with this place.
When they asked about the White House, which has been there for over 20 years, still not completed, and many have said it's due to the rock being close to it, they gave a different opinion concerning the White House.
Maybe the hotel or the owner of the hotel has a problem with the rock, I don't know. But anytime they complete that hotel, you see say all the glass will fall out. All the glasses will fall out. That's why they abandoned the hotel.
For how many years?
I say 1989 to Abuja. When Abuja is in Suleja.
When I'm here some years, that's the glass used to fall down. But I've never heard about any bad incident there. Even some children in this community used to go to that place and wash clothes, play, and come back home. Nothing evil there.
You know, some children, they are playing inside. And anytime, if you enter, even now as you interview me, you just enter the place now, you see people inside. Nothing happened with this house or this kind of thing.
Yes, everybody's saying that. So what about the White House that's there?
The White House, honestly, that White House, the only thing I will tell you, at times, with like 2 weeks, they used to find some criminals over there. And people that are kidnapped, one day they will say it's around that place again, that White House. At times people used to run away and hide in there.
Okay, there's a particular water that they say it has been there for years.
Yeah, there's water there.
So what about the White House that's there?
The White House.
Right, welcome back. This is still Daybreak Africa. In case you're just joining us here on television, Nigeria, we just had a video footage on the mysteries behind the Zuma Rock. Well, the Zuma Rock is a friendly rock, and children play around that rock. Although I've heard lots of stories about this Zuma Rock, so I really don't know.
That was a quite interesting documentary,
yes,
right there from that community report, and like I got to know some facts about the Zuma Rock, especially the fact that it's been surrounded by some mountains, and then those mountains paid some respect to the rock and all. More like way done, sir.
Well done, sir. Well, they say the Zuma Rock people are the Baggy people.
Yeah, the Baggy people.
Yeah, although they said there are new tribes that are now settling in there, and they named it catching guinea fowl.
And that's the meaning of the name Zuluma means the place of catching guinea fowl.
Yes, and they say the rock happens to be one of the strongest idols.
Yes.
And then
in terms of size and in terms of power, strength as well.
Yeah, and there used to be this. There's this building, White House building, situated close to the Zuma Rock.
That's supposed to accommodate tourists that come to.
It was a hotel, so I heard, and I don't want to give you my own story about what I heard, but we've heard a lot of things. But then, since they say the community people can testify that it's a friendly rock, children even go there to wash their clothes sometimes and play around there. So I feel it's a friendly rock. It is Zuma Rock, and it's situated here in Abuja, in Madala, or something. Yeah, something like that. All right, we have a street creed on the full meaning of POS. Lots of people use these things, but they
on a daily,
but they don't know the real actual meaning of POS. Let's listen to what people thought was the meaning of POS.
One of the causes of it is that for one not to be contented with what he or she have. Like in terms of like a woman that can get married with a man when things are moving normal. Then you watch out that as the process goes on, the woman started compelling her husband with another man, saying so person bought this for the wife and you can't even afford it. Then the woman now forgot that this is what she said when they were dating, and there is something.
Precisely, in fact, I don't know the meaning of POS.
Can you tell me the meaning of POS?
Payment of service.
Payment of service. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Very, very sure.
Yes, sir.
Passover service.
I don't know, because I've even asked my boss the meaning of the POS, and I don't know. I've not gotten the answer. And I don't know the meaning.
The acronym that POS. Do you know the full meaning? Can you tell me the full meaning?
I don't know.
You were not informed too. Continue.
Let me just try is payment open service.
Will you keep quiet?
People organization service.
Chai.
Payment organization services. I don't even know.
I don't go shame us. We know what we do.
Really, I don't really know. I just have the idea of POS. Maybe I think it's personal organization system.
POS is people. P stand for people, and O organization. S is for state. Point of.
Is this service or something? I don't even understand. I don't even know the full meaning.
POS. Nah, I don't forget that more. I don't know. I know that at all.
But you know before? You know before?
I know before.
Well, I don't know the meaning. What I just know is just that I go there and collect my money and make use of it.
Can you tell me the full meaning of that POS?
Point of sale.
Thank you, sir. Point of savings. Tell me the full meaning of POS. That P and O, yes. Full meaning.
The full meaning. The full meaning. The full meaning is in fact, I cannot tell the. I cannot get.
What I want to ask you, can you tell me the full meaning of that POS? That P and OS.
It's point of sale.
Point of sale. Thank you, sir. Do you use POS?
Yes.
POS. When did you use POS last?
Maybe last week.
Last week. Okay. What I want to ask you, what is full meaning of that POS?
POS. I don't know.
Okay, let's start from P. What is the full meaning of that P there?
Private.
Well, the O. Okay, the S.
I don't know.
What is full of POS?
Private of service. I've already
okay, look my camera and say it again.
Private of service.
Private of service.
Yeah.
Can you say that again?
Private of service.
Yeah, thank you. But have you used POS before?
Yes, I do.
When last did you use it?
Today.
Today? Yes. Okay, what I want to ask you, can you tell me the full meaning of that POS?
POS. I don't know.
Okay, let's start from P. Can you tell me just the P?
I don't know.
Okay. What about the O? At least one of them I can. POS.
It's like I know, but I forget. The thing just went up my mind.
Let's see if you can remember. If you can remember it now, the P or the O, the S. Then if you remember one now, you can remember all of them. Hope you know.
I'm trying to remember, but I can't remember.
Let's go back. Okay, let's see. Just try P.
That's a.
So you can't cry away now. This is okay. Let's go for the O or S.
It's something pay or social service.
Between using POS and going to bank, which one is more do you prefer?
I prefer POS.
Yes. Why?
Yeah, I'm not used to bank.
Okay.
Because of the line.
Okay, what I want to ask you, can you tell me when last you use POS?
When last? I use it today.
Today. Okay. Can you tell me the full meaning of that POS? My young camera. My don't fuck up your camera. Your camera is looking at you.
Hey.
Come and interview me now.
So me go interview you.
Yeah. Just after you first now. Camera is looking at you. Okay, let's start from this. The P. Let's start from the P. Can you tell me the P?
POS.
Do you use POS?
Yes.
Do you prefer between POS and going to bank? Which one is more better?
POS.
POS?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell me the full meaning of the POS?
I don't know.
Let's just try POS. Let's just try.
I don't know, like seriously.
And you can't try?
Yeah.
What about the P? The P inside the O.
Welcome back. The full meaning of POS by Nigerians. I released some for you. Payment Open Service. People Organization Service. Personal Organization Service. Point of service. In fact, one man said his own concern is to go and use the POS to withdraw money.
He don't care.
He does not care.
That was quite a hilarious one.
I'm telling you. But what's the actual meaning of POS?
Point of sale.
Point of sale, Nigerians. Point of sale. Point of sale.
I just wish they could actually allow it to play to that extent where somebody was actually calling people's name that the P stand for Peter. Then O, she had no idea. Then S for Samson.
No, O is Olivia. Oh my God.
Quite a funny one.
Quite a very, very hilarious one. Anyway, mother-in-laws are tagged to be the main cause of broken homes these days. What do you have to say about that? Mother-in-laws?
I don't really know, but that works basically more for ladies. I've seen a situation where somebody is trying to hook up with her prospective spouse, and the first question that comes up is like, is your mom still alive?
Wow. Anyway, let's just go to the street and see what they have to say about mother-in-laws being the reason for broken homes these days. And then when we come back, you get my own view, because I'm a woman.
For one not to be contented with what he or she have. Like in terms of like a woman that can get married with a man when things are moving normal. Then you watch out that as the process goes on, the woman started compelling her husband with another man, saying so person bought this for the wife and you can't even afford it. Then the woman now forgot that this is what she said when they were dating. And there is something my dad used to say, that women have different character. There is the one they will show to you when you are dating. There's one that she will still show to you when you married her newly. And there's one she will show to you when she have a child for you. That is different. That is stages of marriage. Secondly, things that causes broken marriages in Nigeria, especially in Nigeria, is in-law, mother-in-laws. You will marry a wife now. The woman will be answerable to her parents. You cannot tell your wife, honey, oh, this is how this should be. I did this, so let's do this. So you see, the way you just said it to your wife, she will carry it that way, and so to you, to the parents. They will be comfortable with you. When you are dating, your husband's side, they will come in the house and say they will be comfortable. But once you marry them, they will stop you from the brothers of the husband to be coming to the house. But in their own, their family is okay, they are saints. So these are the kind of things that break homes, especially. And if you marry a wife that cannot take advice from you, when you wrong your wife, you tell your wife, I'm sorry, baby, let's settle this matter. Some of the women will tell you, no, until we get to my father's house.
Marriage is an endless university. It's something that you learn continuously. It doesn't end. This mother-in-law of 18, they are the one causing issues in a home. In a situation where the daughter has already been given out for marriage, the only thing the mother-in-law should be there is, if there is anything, we will tell them, okay, your daughter have done this, okay, we are inviting you for mogo or something good. And not when there is an issue, then the mother-in-law will be the one to come and intervene. It's not done in any home. If you want your home to be good and nice, then make sure that your own daughter, you give your own daughter an orientation where because I know that most of them that are just coming up now, they are just, how will I even put it? They are just people that are just coming up that doesn't even know anything about marriage. Them that are well experienced, that have gotten that experience, she will give them orientation. She will orient them on how to handle it home. They say one cannot make a home unless if you are two. Even Bible said it. They have come to stay. Even Bible said it in the book of Corinthians. That once you are married to your husband, that is it. You have to be submissive. You have to be submissive to your husband. You don't need to take decision on your own, or you take whatever you want to do. You consult your brother. It's not done in that way.
Woman can decide on yourself that I'm getting into marriage. Whatever thing I see, I take, good or bad. I'll make my man to be who I want him to be, not exposing your husband or trying to sell your husband outside and expecting peace to reign in the house. Some of these things, if the woman cannot tolerate such thing, you see, I'm going, I'm breaking, I'm doing this. So it easily comes from women.
Okay, so if you say something very interesting, I hope you're married.
Yeah, I'm married.
Have you ever quarreled with your wife, and how do you settle this?
Yeah, several times. If anybody that tells you that he doesn't have quarrel with his or her wife is a liar. Yeah, it's quite it depends on the kind of woman you marry. You understand? There is some women, like I just said here earlier on, that there's some women that you have quarrel with, and you as a man, you try to come close to the woman, please, whatever name you call the woman, your wife, please, let's settle this matter. Let this matter not go out of this place. The woman will still insist that it must be settled in their.
All right, many thanks for still being with us this morning on Daybreak Africa. Welcome back from that street tweet on mother-in-laws being the reason for broken homes. Maybe some broken homes.
Yeah.
Well, I think in what the man said there, I picked some things. He had valid points.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is that these days we realize or see situations where mostly from the leaders, they quickly rush to their mother. Mommy, this is what's happening, blah, 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 da, 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 da. I feel, yes, as your mother, and you can tell her what is going on, so just to seek her advice, but then don't make it look like a way that...
she has to come in and then settle everything,
exactly.
control everything.
Probably now something, and then she's calling up your husband and like, what's going on? Why are you doing my daughter this way? Da, da, da. It causes anger, because at that point in time, the man is feeling like, this is our marriage, this is our relationship. So whatever is going on between the both of us, let us settle it among ourselves. You don't have to start calling some third party, because whether it's your father, it's your mother, it's your sister, it's your twin sister,
that's third party.
That's third party.
And I don't know if you actually listened to what the second speaker said when he was talking about what marriage should ordinarily be. I told somebody some time back, I listened to a speaker who spoke some time back, and he said, marriage is that institution, the only institution that you are giving the certificate before you go into it. Other certificate, you are being given the certificate when you're coming out. But in marriage, you are being given the certificate before you're going. So that's to show you how unique marriage is.
Yeah, so true. You know, when we were talking about this truth, I'm sure lots of people were thinking about it being the one that the mother of the husband
even me,
is going to come and torment the daughter. That one still there. But the one we're talking about is the mother of the daughter coming to meddle into affairs of the marriage. It's really very, very unhealthy. Very unhealthy, and people should realize that it's a union between two persons. Anyone that is extra should just be coming in when there is a matter on ground that has not been settled, so they need someone external to come in to settle that matter. That is when they should come. I really feel it's a communication thingy. You talk to your partner talks to you, you listen to him. As a woman, we have to be submissive. I don't want to understand... I don't want to understand when people talk about feminism, getting the whole motion wrong. Feminism is not about not being submissive to your husband. And they didn't say being submissive means you're a slave. No, not at all. It's a different ball game.
Wow, what a big one from Messenger this morning. All right, thanks a lot. That's the much we can take on today's edition of Daybreak Africa on Television Nigeria. I'd like to say a very big thank you to you for staying with us. And then join us tomorrow, same time, same place. Let's do this again. Until then, my name is Elvis Oga.
Yes, until then, my name is Messenger. Do stay safe and be happy. Today is Monday, money making Monday. Do stay safe. My name is Messenger.